Hi folks, we are 14 weeks into this season now, so let's see how everyone's doing on the DJ Living's Fantasy Premier League. Hi folks, so welcome to the show. Like I said, we're 14 weeks into season now, only 2 more weeks left now until the World Cup break. So let's have a quick rundown of how the DJ Living League is going. My team's still top with 817 points, but I didn't have a very good week this week, so the few behind have really caught up quite a lot. Gary Britton second, only 5 points behind, and 3 points behind him is Adam Anderson, and then Daniel Madubula had a great week, 92 points, so he's got 804 points now. Obviously, as always, I'll show you the top 20 or so. The highest score we had this week was a Harish Pardeshi, managed 98 points, and I think that's while I've been checking these, I think that's the highest score we've had since the season started. So well done, Harish. Great score there, and obviously he's pulled himself up a few places with that score. Right, so let's look back at last week's fixtures. Starting off with the Man City 1-0 win away to Leicester. Not performance you'd expect, but Haaland was missing for that game, so everyone who had him in their team and in as captain will be very disappointed over the weekend, including myself. Bournemouth 2, Spurs 3. Spurs come back from a 2-0 deficit to win that 3-2 late on. Brentford Wolves was a 1-1 draw. Brighton beat Chelsea 4-1. A little bit of a shock result, but obviously it wouldn't have been hard to get the Brighton players up, with Graham Potter being their ex-manager and going to supposedly the bigger team. It would have been easy to G the players up, so 4-1 win there for Brighton. Palace 1, Southampton 0. Newcastle 4, Aston Villa 0. Aston Villa being brought back down to earth with a bump. Fulham 0-0 against Everton. Liverpool, another defeat. It's 2 defeats in a row. Forest 1-0 last week, and then this week they lost home to Leeds. It's the first loss at home for I think it's 29 games. So a disappointing result for Liverpool. Arsenal 5, Forest 0. Same with Forest. I mean, last week beating the mighty Liverpool 1-0, and this week 5-0 against Arsenal. And then the last game of the week was Manchester United 1, West Ham 0. So that meant that this week finished with 27 goals and 7 clean sheets. Right, let's look at the players I picked last week to look out for. So start off with goalkeeper, Brentford goalkeeper Raya. Managed 3 points, not a massive score, but he did alright. Then I had 2 Newcastle, so I had Dan Burning defence 6 points, not a bad score for a defender 6, I'm quite happy with that. And Almiron 12 points, he was the second highest scorer of the week in midfield. Then my striker I picked Calvert-Lewin, disappointing 0-0 for Everton. Calvert-Lewin only picked up 2 points, so I'd say though the 2 Newcastle lads helped in my 4 pick. So now let's look at a few of the top players. Obviously still not many changes really. We're looking at Haaland at 117 points, Kane 83, De Bruyne 81, scored the goal for Man City this week. Almiron has managed to boost himself up. He's now got 79 points with Trippier 77. 2 Newcastle lads have a good season in 4th place at the moment. Trossard for Brighton on 73 points, and then Cancelo on 71. Right, so let's look out now at the team of the week. So we'll start in goal with Jordan Pickford, 11 points. Good performance there for the Everton goalkeeper. They've had a reasonably good season defensively wise, and Pickford has been a good goalkeeper this year. He's one that I've criticised in the past with people I know as a club goalkeeper, but he's done well this year. So I think this year might be a year where he's actually earning his England call up compared to some others. Then in defence we have a 3-way split on 11 points. Ben Mee from Brentford, Mitchell from Crystal Palace, and Trippier from Newcastle got 11 points. And Dalot from Manchester United, 9 points. I think that's the 4th time he's been in Team of the Week this season. So yeah, he's doing all this year. Midfield now, we're looking at midfield 3. Nelson, Reece Nelson from Arsenal, 19 points. Great score from midfielder this week. Almiron, like I said, got the 12 points. And then De Bruyne with 11 points was the third best midfielder. Up front, we're looking at Callum Wilson. Great performance with that England squad England squad being announced shortly. He got a 19-point haul with 2 goals and 2 assists, as well as the 3 bonus points for being the best player in the game. Kiefer Moore from Bournemouth had 13 points, and then Kai Havertz for Chelsea rounded off the team with 9 points. Right now, folks, looking at next week's fixtures, we're starting off with Leeds v Bournemouth. Leeds obviously coming off that win against Liverpool. It'll be interesting to see how they do in that home game against Bournemouth. Man City, Fulham. Fulham started off the season really, really good. And then they've plateaued off a bit, but I think Man City will be too strong. And there is rumours that Haaland may be fit for this game as well. We'll see. Nottingham Forest, Brentford, next game up. Then Wolves, Brighton. Everton Leicester could be a good game. Then we're looking at Chelsea Arsenal. Probably the pick of the week's game is actually Chelsea Arsenal, except for the last one, but I'll go into that in a minute. Obviously London Derby, Chelsea coming off that defeat, and Arsenal coming off that big win, 5-0 win. And then we're looking at Aston Villa against Manchester United. Then Southampton Newcastle, West Ham Crystal Palace, another London Derby, and finishing off with Spurs at home to Liverpool. As a Spurs fan, I think we could win this one. Liverpool are not playing well at the moment, but 2 defeats on the bounce. They must bounce back at some point, so hopefully it's not in this game though. So the players to watch I've picked for this next week's games. Starting off in goal, I've picked Danny Ward from Leicester, who are away to Everton. Like I say, Everton have not managed a goal in 3 of their last 4 games, so they're not really high scoring. And Danny Ward has played well the last couple of weeks, so I think he might get a few points in that Everton game. Next up, and he's only cost 4.1 million, which is a pretty good price for a goalkeeper. Next up in defence, 4.8 million for Dalot at Manchester United. They're away to Aston Villa. Obviously, like I said, he's really been a bit of a bright spark this year for Manchester United. I think he's had 4 team of the weeks this season in 14 games. He's been picking up a few good points recently, so he's my pick at 4.8 million. You can't really grumble for a defender. The next 2 picks are not really surprise picks, really, but Rodrigo again for Leeds. He's only 6.3 million. They're at home to Bournemouth. And also, Rodrigo has scored in both the last 2 games. He's got a goal in each game, so he may get another one in this next one. And then finishing off with Callum Wilson up front for Newcastle. 7.5 million. They're away to Southampton. He's on the crest of a wave with that 2 goals, 2 assist performance. So let's see. Let's hope he can continue this and then start to play well leading up to the World Cup, which he should go, in my opinion. That's the players I've got to watch for this coming weekend. Right, folks, I think I've covered everything in this shorter version this week. I hope you're enjoying the videos. If you are, give us a thumbs up, please. It's much appreciated. Give us a subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And share to your social medias if you can as well for me, please. Like I said, I'd like to grow this next year. Hopefully what I'm planning to do is do 2 different leagues, a classic league and a head-to-head league, and we'll just see how that pans out. Hopefully we can get the same sort of numbers, if not a bit better. So anyway, like I said, I hope you're enjoying it. Hope the weekend's good for you, and I shall see you next week on DJ Living's Fantasy Premier League. Bye for now.